Morning. How's your show going? Good? Yes? We awake?
I think we should all start by doing some jumping jacks. How about that? Let's have a little tribute to Richard Simmons. Just kidding. Look, one guy's going, yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we put our heads together. We're trying to think what we should talk about this year. And some of this may seem redundant, but it's still extremely important. So we're going to give you some overviews and some tips on things that you can do to help grow your business. One is social media advertising. We've talked about that for a long time, but it does change over time, and so we've got some tips for you. First-party data, that's another one that we've been harping on for, probably 15, 18 years, but it's still extremely, extremely important.
It's more important than ever right now.
Yeah, definitely. And then tried and true customer service, because that is something that we always talk about. Of course, it's a no-brainer to have great customer service, but it seems like since COVID, things have changed. People have changed. And so there's a lot of things that we can do that I think really makes a big difference for your consumer base, and things you can do to really make a difference when other people have kind of slipped in that area. And this is us. We'll have that at the end too. You can reach out to us anytime.
And we'll start with social media advertising trends. So how many of you guys have paid, boosted ads or bought ads on Facebook? So most of you. So I'll just go through this really quick, because here's a couple of trends first. This is a Meltwater survey from 2023 that found that they looked at the engagements of all these different kinds of posts. And the thing that I thought was really interesting in this was that text posts had the second highest engagement. I think we hear a lot about how you need to have photos and video, and you do, obviously that's there, but text posts are still really, really important. And I kind of think, I don't know what the true reason for this is, but I kind of think we see so many posts of videos and images now that when you have a good text post, it stops people to read it, right? Because now that's different. It used to be, at the launch of Facebook, it was mostly text, and then when they acquired Instagram, it started moving more towards video and photos, and so now text is an anomaly that still works, or is working again really well. On photo posts, things that are working for some of the clients that we both work with, I've heard a lot of people say as a retailer they're not sure what to post, what content to use. Things that work well are obviously images of your latest products. We had an industry breakfast on yesterday morning, God, it seems like that was last week. And one of the things that Glenn from ASA, the president of ASA, said was that their studies have shown them that people that are really moved by new products around this time of year and around ICAST. I have a fishing tackle retailer magazine and digital platforms, and I can tell you that new products get the most engagement and the most traffic of anything that we post about. So that's, and you guys can take advantage of that too. You can also do pictures of your process. It may seem like boring and old hat to you, but process pictures and behind the scenes people are always fascinated with that. So if you're struggling with what do I post about, those are some of the things. And then the other thing that I think is always really great is ask your clients for pictures of their fish. They're going to want to show them off, and if they can tag you and you can repurpose it, it just creates a little echo chamber for you. You know, back in the day when I was young and I would go to the tackle shop, there was always this brag board with all the pictures on it, and I, still to this day love going to look at the pictures of the big fish that have been caught, and I think you can use that same energy in social media by using your clients' fish pictures. And in terms of video engagement, interviews with experts, all you have to do is, you probably have, actually the truth is you probably have, everybody who walks in your shop probably thinks they're an expert, but you probably have a lot of customers that are experts on your lake that can help other people, so interview them when they come in. You can just do it with your camera, and that's what people expect, and it's really well received. Also store walkthroughs. I mean, golly, get one of your associates to just walk up and down the aisles and show what's new, or show what you're featuring if the inventory has turned over. Obviously, product demos are great content. Everybody wants to see how products are in use. And then explainer videos, which are sort of like product demos, but it doesn't have to be a product. It could be explaining a technique or explaining what's happening on your lake right now, or your body of water, what's biting, and that's really what everybody wants to know. And then event coverage. We've talked a lot over the years about doing in-store events, and that's always a great piece of content that you can repurpose many times down the road. You don't have to use it just when you have the event. You can repurpose it later. And then also day in the life videos. You could actually, one thing that we've done, we see people do a lot at the brand level is they have takeovers of their accounts where their influencers will take over their account for the day. And you could do that with your employees, or you could do that with your customers. You could let them have a takeover of your account. So there's lots of different ways to do content. And I know it sometimes feels like a drain and a resource drain, but think of it as something fun that you can do, and especially get your customers and clients involved in. So a little bit about Facebook ads. So in my opinion, Facebook's ads can be so complicated that it can just drive you crazy. And I'll tell you a little story. I created a new profile so I could do these slides for you. And I used my name. I created the profile, and I was going to start a new ad account so that I could do these slides. And Facebook kept sharing my profile with all of my friends who reported it as a hack because it wasn't my profile, and they shut me down. They shut my page down. So that's just an example of how complicated they make things, And I guess I get it because people try to hack accounts and run ads and for nefarious things. So, but the main thing I wanted to talk to you guys today is a difference between boosted posts and meta ads. And I have come to the conclusion in my business that I just am going to boost posts because I understand Facebook advertising, but it's so complicated that it aggravates the fire out of me, and I would rather just boost posts because they're very effective. So a post is just content that you have amplified through paying to reach a larger audience. Whereas meta ads, it's actually an advertising platform that you have to sign up for, and you have to have a separate piece of content that deals with that. You create and run campaigns through Facebook's ad manager, and honestly, I just think it's so complicated that, in my view, it's easier just to boost posts and you can get as much value out of it as you need. Unless you're an ad agency or you really understand the meta world, because it's hard to understand. In a boosted post, you select who you want to reach, how much you want to spend, and how long the ad will run. It's real simple. Whereas in meta ads, you have to figure out the ad placement. You have to figure out what your ad objectives are according to their little list of things that could be objectives. You have to figure out which creative executions you want to run, and then they have a really advanced targeting for who you want to reach. So again, I think unless you're a marketing professional or have an agency or some kind of marketing experience, I recommend just staying with boosted posts. And so I'm going to run through this really, really quick. There's a bunch of slides here, but I'm just going to show you how fast it is to boost a post. So this is I have a product called the Fishing Wire, which is a daily news aggregator where you get the news of the day into your inbox every day. And if you're not a subscriber, go to thefishingwire.com and subscribe because it's a great service. So I wanted to create an ad to get awareness. My thing was I just want more people to know about the Fishing Wire. And I'd really like for it to be more people that are going to be at this building. So I started this campaign about 10 days ago, I think. And so what I did was I created a video. So here it says, what's on your mind? I uploaded a video. That's what it looks like. I can't really make it animate on here, but it's an animated video of some of the headlines that we have. Then I wrote headline copy for it. And after I posted it, it asked me if I want to boost it. So I say, yes, I want to boost it. And then this is the next page you come to. And I think all I really did here was I told it I wanted to talk about the audience. And then I wanted people that I want to target, that I wanted to choose through targeting. I put in some details about age and liking fishing, but the most important thing is I said I want to only serve it to people who are within 1 mile of the Orange County Convention Center. And so you can really gate your ads to be in your area, right? You could have it within 1 mile of your shop or 10 miles of the lake or whatever. And then I added some more targeting here, recreational fishing, and they actually have categories that you can browse. You can just type in the first couple of lines like fishing and it'll bring it up. And these were the categories that I chose, which were, well, you can read them there. I won't go through reading them all because you all know a little bit about this. And then don't forget, this is a crucial step because you'll save yourself a lot of work. Don't forget to hit save audience right here. And then you can actually save your audience, and the next time you run an ad, everything's already set up for you. Then I chose my ad spend. It wasn't a lot. It defaults to $5, and it tells you here if you spent $5 a day, you would reach between 343 and 992 people a day. So I boosted the amount up, and it says I will reach between 700 to 2,000 people a day. I wanted to spend a maximum of $100, and then it tells me that people who spent a similar amount with a similar audience got 144 ad clicks. So 2 days later, I think it was, on 7/13, I checked it. I had spent $26 and I had gotten about 2,000 3,000 impressions. Today, just before I came in here, I checked it again, and I haven't spent $100 yet. The $100 will be spent by Friday, but I've gotten 10,000 impressions. So I think it's still a really affordable, effective way to not spend a lot of money, but reach a lot of people. Some other Facebook strategies that we've seen working for people is boosting stories. That's relatively new. You can now put money behind boosting your stories. And so many people don't ever look at posts anymore. They just look at stories and never go down into the posts. So it makes sense to boost some stories. As a business, you can also post in Facebook Marketplace. Is anybody doing that? Do you ever post in Facebook? Has it been effective for you? Yeah, I've seen some of our customers doing it, and it seems to really work. Going live, Facebook wants to promote live video, so if you go live, they're going to open up their algorithm and show it to more people. So doing any kind of live videos will help you with your reach. And then you guys may know this or not, but if you reply to comments when you post, if somebody comments and you reply, they'll open up the algorithm for you to show it to more people because they think that it is something that everybody wants to talk about, right? So just you replying and trying to get your customers to talk back to you will help you with the reach on your regular content. The next thing I wanted to talk about was first-party data. So Google, some of you may have seen that Google is releasing their SGE, their AI-assisted search generative experience. So now when you Google something, they have an AI summary of what the results say, which can just be all over the place. I mean, they come up with some crazy, AI comes up with some crazy stuff. But what that really means for us is it's changing the way people are finding us. Google is also doing away with cookies. So that is going to change the way we advertise on third-party cookies. So what I recommend is that we work on getting first-party data. So the difference between third-party data and first-party data, third-party is collected by other people, and these are some of the ways that it's collected. You probably engage with social media platforms, maybe some market research, but there are data brokers out there that are gathering data that you don't really even know about. First-party data is really important for a small business owner because you control it and you own it. So part of the issues I think a lot of business people have with digital advertising is that the goalposts are always changing and the rules are always changing. And something that you've done, just like with Google, where people have tried to do SEO to achieve good search results with Google, and now that Google's AI-assisted search is coming out, all of that is different now. So all the efforts that people have been putting through it for years are totally changing. But if you own your own data, nobody can change it, nobody can move the goalpost, and nobody can do things with it that affect your business. So how do you gather first-party data? And really what I'm talking about is contacts, right? So there's a lot of different ways. The easiest thing is loyalty programs and customer accounts. If you can start a loyalty program where you can start gathering email addresses and names, I promise you, you will never regret the effort that you put into that. Because again, owning your own data is key. They used to say, probably 20 years ago, people started saying content is king. I really think now data is king. And so the more data you have, even if you feel like you're not a big business and you don't have, tens of thousands of names, if you've got your names of your customers, you've got an advantage. You can also have in-store sign-up forms, online customer registrations. A lot of these things are really easy to do on your website. There's already plugins for the back end that handle all of this. Feedback forms, some people still like to write things out by hand. We take them at our booth. Social media engagement helps you build first-party data. And then, of course, email marketing helps you build the data and also is what you can use with that data. And then a lot of people have POS systems that help them build data, too. So any of those things that you can use to gather first-party data, you should be gathering it and using it because, like I said, it is going to be crucial as we move forward, and it'll be critical to your business to be able to know who your customers are and be able to market to them yourself. With that said, I tried to go really fast, y'all, because I knew I had a lot to cover, and Dena's got a lot to cover too, and so I'm going to turn it over to her to talk about customer service.
You did that in 19 minutes.
Woo!
Pretty good. Okay, yeah, so the third one we're going to talk about is customer service. And I've taken a lot of examples from across the country. I didn't tell them I was doing it, but I'm talking great about them, not critiquing them. So, oh, and I just killed our presentation.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So a couple of things we can do for great customer service is make sure you've got knowledgeable staff. You want to have personalized recommendations, in-store demonstrations and workshops, which we've already kind of talked about, loyalty programs, again, post-purchase follow-ups, and community engagement. And I do want to say something about the POS systems that she mentioned. A lot of them now, I don't know if you know the difference, but talk to the people you purchase them from. If you tap a credit card, it doesn't necessarily gather all their info. When you put the card in, it records their name and whatever information that card is going to give you. And that helps you, call them by name and then record more information. So a lot of the POS systems now are doing a lot more cool things that you can find out how to gather more data.
Can I say something real quick? Mm-hmm. One thing I want to just add to what she said, and I don't want this to sound whatever, but I have a tackle shop in my town that I visit quite often, and when I walk in the store, no one ever greets me, and no one ever says, "Can I help you find something?" Ever. I don't know if it's because I'm a woman, and it's a big tackle store that's really busy, but I always have to go seek someone out to ask something. So if the very least you can do is train your customers to greet people when they come in the store, especially if they're a woman, and say hello, and is there anything I can do to help you? It sounds like such basic stuff, but if you're not minding the front, you may not realize that people are walking in your store and no one is talking to them.
Well, and a rule of thumb for that, beginning of my life, I worked in tourism, and there are certain hotels that have a rule that it's like, I think it's within 10 feet, eye contact, within 5 feet, greet, and then get their name. So even if you train your staff, if they're 10 feet away from you, make sure you make eye contact, and then you say something within another so many feet. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so knowledgeable staff. So this is a tackle shop out in California. Tips for that are hire passionate anglers. They may not be great in sales yet, but if they're really good anglers and they're passionate, they're going to be able to sell. Provide ongoing training on products and techniques. Encourage staff to share personal experiences with customers. So with this shop, if you go to their website, they've got pictures of all their staff, and they're all fishing, And then when you scroll over it, it gives you information about them. So here, Chris is the customer service manager, and he's holding a carp. So at the end, he does say, yes, carp, and says why. So it's really cool because you can go find out about the people that you're going to be talking to in the store, and you may be able to seek them out. But it's very personable, and they've already gone through this process, so they're more apt to talk to the customers. Personalized recommendations. So train staff to ask customers about their fishing preferences and skill levels. Suggest different gear based on local fishing conditions. I don't know if you have team meetings with your staff in the morning, but you can say, hey, we've had too much rain, the river's really muddy, what can we do to help them? Because I've gone into a tackle shop before and they say, fishing sucks. We've had way too much rain, don't go today. No, you can always catch fish. You just gotta figure out how to do it. I was in Montana when they had all those rains and Yellowstone was closed and everything else, and I'm there, I have to fish. Even at the airport, they saw my fly rods and they were like, you don't even need to go. And great, I caught fish. I just had to go figure out where to go, and I went to 3 tackle shops before someone told me a good place that I could go to. So it helps. And I bought a bunch of stuff I didn't need because they helped me. And then I offered tailored advice for beginners and experienced anglers. So I live in the Houston area now, and we've got a lot of really cool shops that have a lot of great ideas. So this is one of them. It's Bayou City Angler. And so I pulled this out of their website just to blow it up. It says, consider this your fishing clubhouse, full of cool stuff, great conversation, like-minded anglers, a good time, and a cold brew. No membership fee or bar tab. So you can sit there, have coffee, you can have a beer, talk about fishing, where to go, and purchase your items. In-store demos and workshops. Host regular product demonstrations. You can organize workshops and fishing techniques, gear maintenance, local fishing spots, invite local fishing experts and special events. One thing you can do is have a workshop on how to clean your reels. I mean, that's something. And if you provide those services, maybe they'll see, okay, well, it takes this much to do it, but I could pay them to do it, But it does help teach them. So this one in particular, I mean, they've got everything from, how to fly cast, pick the right fly, and how to fillet a fish. How many of you can get your knife manufacturers to come in and sponsor that and, do a filleting presentation. Community engagement, we talked about the fish pictures on the wall. You can sponsor fishing tournaments, we all know about that, and events. Partner with conservation groups, do cleanup initiatives. And then, make sure you have your bulletin board in the shop, but then also use it on social media. Let people brag about what they've caught. And then this is something, so I'm in Houston, so I have friends that still don't have power. It kind of messed up me getting to ICAST. There's some out-of-the-box things that you can do that you wouldn't even think would bring community together and help out. And then there's some things that you can do that may really hurt you. So this was in USA Today. It's been all over the news. We have no power. Whataburger is a hamburger place, right? It's fast food. Who would think that they would be where we would go to find out if the power's on or not? Okay, so if you have dealer locators on your website, if you've got different things like that, I'm not saying this is what you do, but this is kind of what happened with them, because people wanted to know where they could go to get a burger because no one has power. By using this map, you know who's got power and who doesn't. It's just a customer service thing that they did to help people find their stores, but it ended up getting them national news, and a lot of people are in line at Whataburger. And then there's a lot of negativity over the power company because they have no customer service right now. And they're going after the CEO now. And that's why I put this Center Pointless, because it's Center Point Energy. But what Whataburger did, being a retailer, is just a cool, innovative thing. So think of something out of the box that would get people to come to your website or come to your store. Back to our stuff, So loyalty programs again. This is another Houston location, Gordy's. You can implement a point system. You've got the punch card things, but you can have a point system in your POS a lot of times. You can offer exclusive discounts, early access to products. If there's a new product coming out and you work with the manufacturer and you can get a demo in there or samples, have an event, let people come check it out or pre-order. Provide birthday rewards or annual membership perks, things like that. And Gordy's does a free casting school for their loyalty program. Post-purchase follow-up, send thank you emails. I worked for a retailer one time, and they made us, every time a significant purchase happened, I had to handwrite a thank you note. So, if someone gets it, you get a rod and reel, and then there's the thank you note for buying it, and then, request feedback on products. Let us know how it's working for you, or if you need help with this product, here's my information. That's another level of customer service that means a lot. Even if they don't call you, you personally touch them. And then there's so many options. I just kind of did a little roundup. Expert advice and problem solving. Like I said, free consultations on gear selection. Follow up, do you need help with that? How's it working for you? Flexible return policies. Maybe that wasn't quite the right product. Maybe they want something else. Give them a certain amount of time, they could bring it back, or you could help them with it. Value-added services. Just like, offer line spooling, not tying, that sort of thing. And then the online presence and the omni-channel support. And that goes back into your website, using social media, offering options for ordering online or making in-store purchases.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Well,
Thanks
thank you.
for joining us today. We appreciate it. And I hope you have a good rest of your show.